Welcome to the Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Rosemary Brown of the 189th District, which includes parts of Monroe County and Pike County. Today I have KERRY SCHIMELFENIG, who is a service officer with the American Legion, who actually does a lot of veterans outreach for our office here in Marshalls Creek for both Monroe County and Pike County. KERRY, you are very busy in my office, and I brought you on to show the viewers what services you offer and how much you really help our veterans in the area through my office. So first, give us a little bit of background about yourself. And
well, first of all, thanks for having us, and I appreciate you providing us the venue to do what we do. If it wasn't for yourself, we wouldn't be able to service the constituents in your area. I'm a Navy disabled veteran out of the United States Navy. I come out of the Gulf War. I am what's called a state service officer, and I work for the State of Pennsylvania Department of American Legion. And what we do is we help veterans through the benefit process. I liken it to the tax law. Everything's in writing, but we take them through the process because there's so many laws and different effects that affect the veterans coming back. So we kind of just carry them through the process, whether it's a veteran themselves, whether it's a family member, for a benefit for a widow or a surviving spouse, whatever the case may be, health care benefit. And you know, your office here has been fantastic. I mean, we've been packed every time, and that's been a good thing. We were actually looking at, I know we've talked about maybe extending that.
yeah, and it's amazing because I think there's so many situations that can come up with a veteran, and based on when they served, how old they are, their financial situation, all the different pieces that play. It's like every story is different.
Exactly. There's different. It's funny. There's different. It's almost like different categories for each. And one veteran that may have a disability now may 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road have a financial situation that's totally different from the disability. Right. You know, and it's a veteran that may fell on hard times. It might be income issue from a job loss. It could be, you know, a multitude of things. And veterans don't realize what that programs are available with the laws changing constantly, especially with the veterans coming back. You know, some of the newer GI bills versus the post-GI bill versus the Montgomery GI bill, the health care benefits where it's expanding now a lot at the VA hospitals where there's a means test available, where when I came back in the Gulf War, if you weren't service connected because of the burden that was put on the VA hospitals and the facilities, they couldn't provide the cares to just every veteran. They had to take veterans that were, you know, they kind of prioritize them, as I say, and they do that now, and they've expanded, and it's constantly changing. So that's why through representatives like yourself working with our organization, we've been able to go out and help veterans and show them how the laws change, and that's what our job is. We have to be accredited and certified every quarter through the VA.
I find that as I'm out in the community, you know, we have so many great veterans, and oftentimes they don't reach out, or they just they keep to themselves and very humble, and if they have a problem, you don't always know about it, whether if it's an emotional or a situation from serving or whatever else it would be, but they keep to themselves a lot. And so if there's veterans watching today, I mean,
it's amazing that you are spot on with your comment, and we run into this a lot. And the Vietnam veterans, I always tell people, have done a great job of going through the years and pain and suffering and getting groups out there to let them know it's okay, because you know, a veteran goes in and you do your job and that's it. You don't expect anything. That was what you did. That was what you were supposed to do. And there's so many programs out there because people don't realize that if the help is going to help you, and what I tell them always when I run into veterans, I always say to help you, you're helping your family when you're helping yourself, and that's the important thing. And there's so many different community programs out there that they don't realize that are available, and you're right.
So it's worth it for them to even come in to see you or the county office, wherever they want to go, to set up sort of a file and go through the status of where they are in their life, not expecting anything, but just kind of reviewing what programs are out there for veterans, what benefits are there for as a thank you for your service.
I get a lot of them, and I always tell every veteran, at any venue I can get to talk to them or let them know, there's service officers out there for a multitude of organizations, from the county to the American Legion to the Disabled American Veterans to the VFWs. Everybody works collectively together. We work real strongly with the county people. Everybody's goal is the same, to get the information out to the veteran, to let the veteran know what's available. And I think I always say to veterans, you know, any questions you're not sure about is the one, it's just a dumb one. I mean, ask these questions, because you don't realize what's out there for you, for your family members. I mean, you
And it's
served
very
your country.
confusing.
And
It's very confusing.
And it's hard not to be confusing because there are so many veterans and there's so many different levels of, there's disability, there's exchange, commissary privileges that are different levels, and obviously there's tax dollars and things that have to go to those things, and so there's different levels of what can be available, what's available fairly.
Right, right.
know.
We always say to veterans too, you gave service to us, so don't be afraid to let us give some service to you. And and the things that are fair and things that are justified and things that make sense that are available. Don't be afraid to say, yeah, I am gonna take advantage of that.
And it's funny, I always liken it whenever I'll run into people who always, they say, oh, veterans this, veterans that. I always
Right.
say, you know what? It's a contractual obligation I signed with the United States government to go in as a solid, healthy individual. Their responsibility to that contract was to take care of me and give me back to my family or my life or whatever is healthy. So if something happened in between there, that's a contractual obligation that they have to adhere to. And there's people out there that take advantage of every system, unfortunately, that make a bad taste for it. But there's a lot of veterans out there that won't take advantage of things, and advantage is a bad word, won't take use of the things that are available for them because of the commitment they made to serve for the country.
Right, right.
And that's where I think that a lot of them get that feeling of service. It's just like this job I have is probably the most rewarding job. I mean, it's great because I get to help people, and I help people from a hospice situation I just had now where they lost a family member. In 24 hours, we were able to process some things for them to help the family to, someone I've taken, years through the process to finally get what they were supposed to get. But it's very self-satisfying and very rewarding for me because it's I'm a serving kind of person, so that, from being in the military, I just kind of maintained it.
Yeah.
But there's, service officers in the counties and so forth that have the same mentality. Everybody in this, the different organizations have the same mentality. Everybody wants to help the veteran.
Well, and you look and it's a tremendous sacrifice. I think most people watching will be able to say they get the concept that it's a tremendous sacrifice to serve, but when you run into families, when, younger, older, whatever the situation may have been, gone for 18 months, gone for longer than that, and come back maybe different than how they left, whether emotionally, physically, and hopefully many came back very good, thank goodness, but you have situations that the sacrifices vary on all different levels, and it's easy to say,
I think people don't realize that's probably a bigger, for me anyway, and I know a lot of veterans, the bigger sacrifice was the sacrifice that my family made to allow me to leave and to go to be in, in either harm's way or whatever the case may be.
And with the risk involved.
With the risk involved of loss. And I think that's the hugest sacrifice. And to me, it's just amazing that people don't realize that sacrifice and recognize that as more important than actually the veteran.
Right. Right, because it's a family
It's
decision.
it's a whole process.
It's your
Exactly.
life. It's your really life.
Exactly.
I've also run into many veterans that, are fine and everything's fine. They've served and then they go through their careers and then they retire and then PTSD comes out or something comes out later in life. Do you find that a lot? Do you see that a lot?
Something triggers it. They call it a trigger mechanism.
Right.
And I always tell them, it's funny, I always tell these guys, I don't know what to do. I tell them, you're driving down the street with your buddy in your car and you're saying, my car's not working right, but you don't take it to get looked at.
Right.
And that's the problem. You got to get looked at. You got to go out. And that's where these Vietnam veterans, I always talk about these groups they put together. They've done a great job because they get together and those guys within those groups and gals know they've experienced something that the other one has. The family members haven't, the friends, nobody has been it, but they've experienced it. So they can talk to them. They can let out exactly what's happened, and it's they've done a great job, and there's a lot of those growing from the Iraq war guys coming back and the Afghanistan, and so it's good because they've created a boilerplate to try to build off of, and the vet centers have tried to do a good job in creating counselors for that to make that available.
Yeah. And I've also heard too, that some of the younger veterans, are not always approaching the services as soon as they come out, and
well, it's
Is
funny.
that
You come
true?
out, it's very true. And it's funny, you listen, you can always tell, and I say this not to be, I say this because I can say it. I came out during the Gulf War, and if there's a peacetime veteran, you can tell the difference between a peacetime veteran and a wartime or a conflict veteran, because the veteran that's in a conflict, the Vietnam guys, they have one foot out the door. They didn't care about what was available. Get me out of here.
Right.
I'm done. Or they became a career person. And you see a lot of them don't realize they just want to get out. They don't care what's available. They don't know. you know, what the VA has to offer. And then it's just like in all reality, the VA, I mean, there was nightmares, and the VA in Wilkes-Barre's done a great job of retooling that hospital, making it more veteran-friendly, reaching out to the veterans, trying to do more outreach, trying to let them know what's available, making it more of a customer service hospital, customer-friendly hospital, I should say, patient-friendly, I guess.
Yeah, my uncle's up there from the Korean War, and he's had tremendous service up there at the Wilkes-Barre VA.
I came back in the Gulf War, and the VA hospital that I came back to what it is today, I was fortunate enough when I took on this opportunity to get health care, I won't take it nowhere else but the VA, and they bill my health care. It's just because I'm a veteran, I'm eligible to do that.
Wonderful.
And they do a great job. It's a great job. They've done a really good job up there.
What do you feel are the biggest things that people come to you for in the office here? What are the most common situations that you help people with?
You know, a lot of and it depends on the different areas. A lot of the areas, it's the one consistency I see is financial assistance in some form or another because of taxes or, you know, the loss of a job or whatever the case may be. What can I do to be retrained? What can I do to find what programs are out there? I see that as pretty much all over, no matter where. That's a pretty straight, consistent request everywhere. I see a lot of people come in that are confused about what's available on and off. Healthcare is the secondary one that I see a lot of. A lot of people coming in trying to see what they can do to get healthcare. They can't afford healthcare, so they want to use the VA system healthcare, which, you know, veterans meet a certain criteria, they can do that. And then just people wanting to know, you know, they've gotten Vietnam veteran guys who came back and haven't had issues all their life, and now they have a cancer or they have a diabetes or, you know, something, and there's a presumptive, which is called presumed, but because of the exposure to herbicides, the Agent Orange, and they want to find out what's available because now they're giving up their homes and all this for cancer treatments and cost, and it's something that they didn't realize was eligible. They were eligible to get a benefit from the VA or to get covered by the VA. So, you know, and I always tell them, if you're a veteran, there's no question that's dumb. I mean, ask. There's so much out there. That's so much, and that's what I'm for. That's what the service officers are for.
And I'm thrilled that you're in my office. We were just talking before the taping that because the issues are so varied, it's really wonderful to have you as an expert. And so I ask people that are watching, if you are a veteran that maybe hasn't reached out and haven't gotten the service, that you do contact the office, and we'll set you up with Kerry. And he's an expert. He really knows his information.
We're here once a month on a regular basis, and we've been pretty full every month since we started the program. I think the first month we might have did 2 people, and then it's been full since.
We have been. We've been very, very full. But we'll get you on the schedule. We'll get you included in it. But now, will you meet with maybe spouses or family without the veterans sometimes? Would that ever be a scenario?
I do that once in a while. I've had scenarios where either the veteran may be in hospice or the veteran may be to have a severe enough disability that they can't be, you know, they're not mobile. We'll make arrangements. If I have to, you know, we'll go to the house if we have to. I've been to nursing homes. It depends on the circumstances. I mean, the ultimate goal is that we get the information, the correct information, and the most appropriate information to the veteran, and through the venue like this, it's a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
And they should know that, you know, in your area, that they just call, they make an appointment, and we'll get them that information. If we can't get them in the office, then we'll figure out something.
How to work with them.
I mean, we were just talking about that with the one situation.
Yeah.
You know, we'll go and we'll handle it. No big deal.
Yeah, you're willing to help out in many ways.
Sure.
So, you know, Kerry, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
we appreciate what you bring to my office and to the veterans in the area. And we
appreciate
did this
the-
to make
the
sure,
ability.
thank you, we did this show to make sure that people watching, spouses, families, veterans, that if you have not reached out and utilized the services, that you know that we're here, and that we'd be more than happy to help you, as you deserve the service. So we'll have to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Did you know that the state capitol is not only the epicenter of the Commonwealth's governing bodies, but was once home to 390 preserved Civil War flags? During the war, it was customary for each state to furnish their regiments in battle with flags representing their contribution to the Union Army. After the war, Pennsylvania's military department was responsible for collecting the flags, and in 1872, they were reverently housed in the Capitol. Following the completion of construction on the new Capitol building in 1914, the Civil War flags were removed to the Capitol Rotunda. They were kept untouched in custom-made flag cases until 1982, when the Capitol Preservation Committee initiated its Save the Flags project. Throughout the years, dust and long-term vertical display of the flags had begun to devastate the brittle silk fabric and painted designs. The flags were removed by local textile conservators and were repaired and preserved in storage units that protect the relics from light, dust, and excessive handling. Now you know.
Welcome back to the Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Rosemary Brown, and we just finished up a conversation regarding veteran services, and now we're moving on to Pregnancy Resource Center in Monroe County with Development Director Lori DITARANTO. And Lori has some great information to pass along to us about the Pregnancy Resource Center if you're not aware of what they do, but they've been around quite a long time, right, Lori?
Yeah, almost 30 years. Next year will be 30 years.
That is a long time. And how did the Pregnancy Resource Center start?
It started with a group of local Christians from different churches who felt that there was a need in Monroe County to help people who were in either a crisis or an unplanned pregnancy and had nowhere to go.
Right. And I'm sure that happens all the time. I mean, all the time.
Yes,
that
it
there's
does.
nowhere to go, and people feel lonely, and they just really say, what am I going to do? Where do you think, from that time 30 years ago to now, how Pregnancy Resource Center has grown and changed the face of the center? How has that changed?
It's changed dramatically. We've changed our name several times. We've even changed our mission statement a couple of times. A lot of the services we offer are still the same, but we've grown dramatically. We see hundreds and hundreds of clients a year. You know, like 30 years ago, this was a small rural community.
Right.
So now we've kind of boomed into almost a mini kind of urban community a little bit in some senses, especially in the center of Stroudsburg. So we have lots of clients, and we have lots of new and dynamic services, which is really keeping up with the times as far as ultrasound, you know, the moment, not the moment, but pretty soon after conception, we're able to give an ultrasound to a woman who just finds out that she's pregnant, and she's able to see her baby on screen, which is amazing.
How do you get your referrals to Pregnancy Resource Center? So someone who's watching today, maybe somebody who's just newly found out they're pregnant, or may feel that they don't have a direction to go in, they don't have, they're maybe not expecting the pregnancy, maybe it wasn't planned, or whatever the situation may be. Do they just come directly to you, or do they sometimes get referred to you, like you said, from churches or from doctors? How does that work?
That's a very good question. We get referrals from all different types of places. We have about 30, 35 supporting churches. So if someone in a church has an unplanned pregnancy, a pastor can refer us. We're not in the newspapers, but we do have a website. Every once in a while we'll have someone come from our client website. We have people who've come and gotten services and really been thrilled with the level of service that they've gotten, so they refer it to our services to a sister or a cousin or an aunt or a friend. You know, so sometimes it's just a local word of mouth.
How does it work for payment of services? So when you talk about services, we'll go into more detail now of
Sure.
all the services that you offer, but how does it work for the services that we're going to be talking about? Do they pay for the services? Is there a donation, or how does that work?
Sure. All of our services are free and confidential to anybody who comes, regardless of any type of financial background. No insurance is accepted. Everything is free and confidential. All of our stuff, all of our maternity clothes, diapers, baby food, wipes, furniture, everything that we have to give to a client is directly or indirectly from a donation. So there's no exchange of real money, but there is an Earn While You Learn program, which is really great. So it's not like she's coming and saying, well, can I have this or can I have that? She actually comes and she gets to learn. She'll either have a childbirth class if she needs one, or she'll have maybe a car seat safety class, or maybe even a Bible study if she wants one. But she sits with a peer counselor for about an hour period of time and learns what she chooses to learn that's appropriate for her and where she's at in her pregnancy. And then she earns what we have in our economy is baby dollars, boutique bucks, so to speak. So she'll earn a bunch of boutique bucks per time that she comes in, and she can redeem them for whatever she may need, whether it's maternity clothes, baby food, a piece of furniture, or a wipe or a diaper or a baby outfit or anything like that that we have to offer.
Which is great. And, and I've been to the center and I've seen your boutique and even your, I should say, backstock of boutique and how prepped you are for the utilization of all the items and to refill, almost like a store. You have your backstock and you're ready to go when you start moving through it. So it's wonderful. It's a great
huge.
system with the dollars. So if anybody wants to donate, if you're have baby items that are almost new or gently used,
yes.
something that you would feel very much like it's a wonderful item and in very good shape, right? You'll take the donations.
Absolutely.
And,
just call first. You call our administrative assistant. Our phone number, I don't know if you want me to give it.
yeah,
but
we'll put that up.
Yep.
For,
They can call the main phone number and make an appointment to come in. We don't like to have drop-offs because we need to be able to say, yeah, we can take that, or no, we can't take that. So you just call first, and then as long as the item is new or gently used, we'll probably take it.
Great. Yeah,
And you can
depending on the
also get
need,
a tax-deductible receipt.
which is very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, you do. It's not. You don't have a huge center, so you only have limited space too. So it makes
And
it
that's
difficult.
another thing. When we take a lot, but if it's like a whole half a truckload, we might not be able to take it.
Right. But you might be able to refer someplace else
Yes.
that could take it or whatever. So make the
Yes.
phone call before you bring any donations.
Absolutely.
And your ultimate goal is really to help women who have decided that they found out they're pregnant, whether it was unexpected or expected or a difficult situation, is to enjoy their pregnancy, to have a healthy pregnancy, and to continue on as wonderful mothers and build a family. Is really what it's about.
Yes, that's what it's about, and it's about helping people not only in unplanned pregnancies, but and planned pregnancies, but it's about helping individuals that are on the fence about
Right.
what they want to do with their pregnancy and leading them and guiding them to a healthier choice.
Right. And you also have a special program now for men and for
Yes.
expectant fathers. Tell us a little bit about that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. That started about a year ago. Our executive director at the center decided that, we all decided collaboratively, collectively, that so much attention, and everybody pretty much agrees with this, is given to the woman when she's pregnant. Showers and tummy touches and parties and just in the hospital, all kinds of attention is given to the woman and the baby. But the father really just doesn't get a chance to talk and open up and say what he feels, and it's kind of like he's pushed aside. So we've decided that any dads who want to become better dads or just want to maybe open up about their feelings about the pregnancy, or just to talk, or maybe they want to have a Bible study, or maybe they just want to learn a little bit more about what's going on in their wife or their mate's body, they can come and they can talk to a male counselor who is well trained, and they just can do, I think it's a 12-week course, and then they even get a certificate when they're done. And it's just fabulous, and a lot of men have come through our program and graduated, and it's really cool.
Well, I think it's funny. You're right. You do forget about the man. The woman gets all the attention, and the men are probably more afraid to say that they don't really know what's going on, or they don't
Exactly.
understand it. And I'll deal with this. I'm a man. I'll be able to deal with it. But there's a lot of emotions going on, so it is wonderful.
Exactly.
And if you're a father and you feel that you could relate and be a good mentor or trainer in that fashion, you are also always looking for people
Yes.
like that too. So if you
Yes.
feel that you want to give back to the community and give back to helping build families and giving good advice and education, you can train them to do that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody who is an involved father and loves being a dad or just wants to help a dad can come in, and we can train them, and they can be part of our fatherhood initiative, helping men become better fathers and more involved fathers.
Which is great. And is there a certain amount of hours that you would say, if you were to consider volunteering for that, how many hours do you think that would be a reasonable amount for a man who said, I'd like to do that. I think that would be a good way for me to give back to the community. How many hours do you think on the lowest end? And obviously you could probably give as much as you want in hours, but
Yeah, I would say right now, where we're at with the program, since it's still relatively new, I would say probably about an hour to an hour and a half a week. As it grows and more men want to come in, maybe it'll be 2.5, 3 hours a week. And it could be even less depending on, how many are signed up. Maybe it would only be an hour or two a month right now. So it's not a heavy duty amount of time.
very, very reasonable.
Yeah, it's very reasonable. The training, there is a little bit of some hours involved in getting all trained up and stuff like that, but that
Good
comes and
education,
goes,
right?
yeah, you know, and then once you get rolling, like I said, maybe an hour a week right now.
You have an ultrasound program that you
Yes.
mentioned a little earlier,
Yes.
and that's fairly new. Tell us about that, how it started, and how it's being utilized.
Sure, it just stopped me
Yeah,
when
go ahead.
because
No, I
could
know
just
this
go.
is a big subject,
Yeah,
so.
it is. Well, it was always our dream. One of our main goals is to really help women to see the life that they have inside of them, and we didn't feel we were 100% equipped to do that 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and so many pregnancy resource centers throughout the nation are going towards technology. That being able to see the baby at the first availability to help mom make the most informed decision that she can make. Mm-hmm. So for years we've been thinking about ultrasound, thinking about it, praying about it. Where how can we get the funds for it? I just decided we all decided a few years ago that this was the direction that we were going to go. That this is the direction we feel led to go in. So I would say about 3 or 4 years ago, I just started hitting the churches and doing speeches and getting out there and just telling everybody in the community the need that we have to be able to, an extra tool to give to these women. And money started rolling in, maybe $3,000, $4,000 started rolling in towards the program. But we had a lot more to go. We had a lot more red tape. We had a lot more,
Yeah.
it's very expensive. And we needed a medical team and staff and nurses and doctors and the whole thing. So ultimately what happened is I actually live on the block of one of the local Knights of Columbus in Tannersville.
I remember that.
And he just said, wow, what a great ministry that you have. How can we help? And I said, oh, okay, we'll take diapers and some wipes. And he said, no, how can we help? And I'm like, okay. And I was joking around. I really was. And I said, you can give us a $30,000 ultrasound, okay? And so he said, done. And I was like, are you really kidding? And he wasn't kidding. And the local Tannersville Our Lady of Victory, Knights of Columbus, said, no, we're not kidding. Tell us what you need. And it took the better part of a year to 2 years to get everything really rolling. But they had some fundraisers. And lo and behold, about a year ago, they handed us a $30,000 check for our ultrasound. We purchased it around this time last year, 2012. We had it hooked up early 2013, and we were ready to go this summer, July 2013.
A lot of people don't always realize what they do and what they have done, so it's really a nice time to say thank you and let them know.
Absolutely. And we've said thank you a lot of the times, but
Yeah.
we're going to say thank you again.
Yeah.
And we even awarded them with a plaque at their last awards dinner, and we've thanked them a million times, but thanking them on TV is another wonderful way to do that.
And to see it utilized often is probably
Yes.
the biggest thank you, and have people utilize it in
Yes.
the county.
Yes,
So,
and there's already a woman who came in who she didn't know what she was doing. She just had a baby, and she got pregnant again, and she saw that baby on the screen, and she canceled her appointment for termination. And I'm not sure if she will reschedule, and that's all up to God, but we believe she's changed her mind.
well, you give the resources, and I think that's what the name stands for, the Pregnancy Resource Center. You make your decision, but here are some resources to guide you or to help you. And that's why we wanted to make sure that people knew what you did. We're so tight on time, so we do have to wrap it up. But if you do need any more information on Pregnancy Resource Center, we will put the number on the screen, and feel free to contact my office as well. Thank you for watching the Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Rosemary Brown.